Hello, good people of the world. I apologize for the delay. It's a little chaotic here within the lonely walls of our beloved Chateau de Levon. I want to welcome you here tonight, and thank you so much for joining me. We're going to present to you a presentation tonight of unprecedented silliness, the likes of which we've never known. And even though it took us a few minutes to get started, I think you're going to enjoy what comes up next. But before we get rolling, I would like to make a quick point. Most of you know me as a musician who's played in Dallas for some time. Why, I've had the good pleasure of performing around these parts for over 25 years. And I've always been very grateful for the good folks who come out and allow me that pleasure of entertaining them. I also teach piano mostly, and I've been attempting to do that on the side. But the teaching has always been supplemental to the gigs. And like many musicians that I know, everyone is struggling to find a new way with even less of a safety net than they've ever known. So, throughout the course of this program, if you feel that you can offer some kind of kindness, do know that it would be most graciously appreciated. And with that being said, I think we're ready to move on to our first bit. So, I hope you'll join me. Let's have a bit of a song, shall we? Ha-ha! Ah, yes. What a lovely, balmy Texas night. And what better place to be than here with you? I'd like to get the ball rolling here with a particularly mopey song, one that we've been working on with the Bastards of Soul Band, and that hopefully one day will be recorded. Proud to bring it to you now. It goes a little something like this. You're never gonna win her heart. You should give it up. Stop trying to turn the tables. Even if you were able, it would never be enough. Now I've got a little story to tell. It's gonna serve you well. We'll take it from the beginning. You thought you were winning, you were losing yourself. I've been watching you, the way you follow close behind. When you give it away, you fall a little further every time. That girl's no good for you, and if you don't already know, it's time to let it go. I've been watching you, the way you follow close behind. When you give it away, you fall a little further every time. Now that girl's no good for you, and if you don't already know, it's time to let it go. 'Cause you're never gonna win her heart. You should give it up and stop trying to turn the tables. Even if you were able, it would never be enough. Well, I certainly thank you for that indulgence. Well, that one got to me. But on a lighter note, I'm very pleased to report that the response from our last program has been very warm and generous. And it's on this evening that I can proudly announce that we've officially received our first sponsorship. Oh, now, I don't know too much about this company, but it's my understanding that they can tend to all of your cable needs and that they're known for their quality customer service. So without further ado, I offer you our first sponsored commercial from the good folks at Cable Cats.
Hi, I'm calling because my cable's out and I want to see if I can get somebody out here. Hello? Hello? Hello, hi, I had an installation appointment from noon to 5 and yeah, this is the third time I called. I've only got like 2 blinky lights on my modem, so what do? I need some help. Hello? Hello? Are you purring? I think they're purring. Come on. Stop transferring me, please. Oh, come on, please. This is ridiculous. Hello? I really need to get this fixed. This really needs to be taken care of. Hello? Come on, guys. Please, will somebody answer me? When am I gonna get this taken care of? Yeah, you hung up on me.
Well, how about that? Now that seems like a reputable company. Yes, run by cats. Well, it's at this point in the program that I'd like to take the opportunity to tell you one of my favorite old tales on a section I call Story Time. Ah, yes, Story Time, where we dig back into the dark recesses of our collective minds and try to figure out, why did any of this really happen? This story comes from about 10 years ago. Ah, yes, I remember it well. I was living in a state of self-imposed exile in the outer boroughs of Pleasant Grove. Oh, they were strange days indeed, and I'll never forget that fateful time when Mike Snyder, my dear old friend, called me up with a very special request. Turns out that he had a performance due that night at the Sons of Herman Hall, and he needed a piano. Well, you can imagine my surprise when I was soon to discover that the performer that evening would be none other than songwriting legend J.D. Souther. Ah, the great J.D. Souther, known for his fine quality work with the Eagles and with others, enough so that his name has loomed large for generations. So, without hesitation, I grabbed my piano and hauled it up the treacherous steps of the Sons of Herman Hall. Got it up on stage, set up all the gear, and even gave it a good polish. I wanted it to look real fine for Mr. Souther. Ah, well, so then I settled back into the crowd and got ready for what was sure to be an exciting night of quality entertainment. Well, I couldn't find any friends to go with me, so as the lights went down, I found myself elbowing total strangers to my left and right, saying, "Hey, that's my piano he's using." All right, so once he got going, he was about 3 or 4 songs into the show, all on guitar. But the point at which he stood up to take the piano, I was so excited. My anticipation was at a fever pitch. So he goes to the piano, and without hesitation, he says, "What is this cockamamie piano? I've never played on a bigger piece of garbage in all my days. Look at it. Why, it's filthy, and it sounds like poo-poo." Well, as I sunk into my seat, you can imagine my cheeks flushed with shame. And I cowered my way through the rest of the show, but there was nowhere to go. I had to take my gear. So back and forth he went, from the guitar to the piano, and every time he sat down, he had a new line of ferocious abuse. Well, so at the end of the show, when he went off to sign autographs, I sheepishly took the stage to break down my gear. It was at that point that the sound man walked up and said, "Hey, don't worry, old J.D. does that everywhere he goes." Well, I wish I could say that lifted my spirits, but it just made me more realize that J.D. Souther is a bit of a jerk. So, after I got my gear home, I will say there was an upside to this tale. I told my father all about it, and as he listened closely to every detail, at the end of the story, he said, You know what you should have done, son? You should have walked up there and slapped the poop out of him. Now, of course, I'm paraphrasing, but I always liked that. So, this story, if nothing else, leads us to only one conclusion. J.D. Souther, I'll see you in hell. How about another song, shall we? Oh. Hey, Chateau, let's kill that jazzy jazz. You know, with everyone struggling to find work, myself included, it got me thinking the other day about all the jobs I have had through the years. There have been some pretty wacky ones. I recall the year was 1996. I was all of 19 years old, and I was living, as most people in Texas do at some point or another, in the beautiful town of Austin, Texas. Oh, yes, Austin, a thriving metropolis, bursting at the seams with heads of industry and hippies. While living in Austin, I found myself employed by a wonderful little place called Delaware Sub Shop. Ah, Delaware, yes. Nestled in the shadow of a thriving hospital district, we were always overrun with hearty lunch crowds. We were known for our fresh-cut deli meat subs, our soups, our salads, and of course our legendary Philly cheesesteak. Oh, they'd line up around the block day after day for that savory goodness. Our leading competition at the time was a little place called Thundercloud Subs. And as we listened to the radio while we worked, we were constantly hearing the Thundercloud Sub theme song. And I remember one day saying, you know, we need a jingle. And everyone laughed, and I said, no, I'm serious. I'm going to write a jingle for us. And it went a little something like this. Well, if you're looking for a deli sandwich, I know the place to be, where the soup is hot, and the salad's fresh, and the service can't be beat. We got oils and spices at reasonable prices at Delaware Sub Shop. Now, if you're looking for a Philly cheesesteak, but the East Coast is too far, do yourself a favor and grab a neighbor, get in the car and head on down the road to Delaware Sub Shop, at 11 convenient locations in your Austin area. That's right, there's no baloney here. Oh, Delaware. Ah, yes, Delaware Sub Shop. Delicious. I remember they played it for the boss, and it never made the airwaves, but it's my understanding it got a good chuckle around the conference table. Cut to a few years later, I was doing some telemarketing out in Richardson. Telemarketing is a thankless existence, as anyone will tell you. So I felt beholden to write a little tune that might lift the spirits of my cohorts. The place was called Dial America, and it went like this. Well, it's the thrill of the hunt, the heat of the chase, so when you're following down the leads, Dial America telemarketing, satisfaction guaranteed. Selling AOL products, or cable TV, or even Reader's Digest. Dial America telemarketing only settles for the best. Ah, yes, Dial America telemarketing. One can only hope that it's a festering tar pit. Which brings us to our final little jingle. Sometime around the year 2004, I found myself working at the Magnolia Movie Theater over at the West Village. And while I later climbed the ranks to assistant manager, I started off my employment there working down in the box office. A wonderful job, because if nobody came in, you could sit there and read books. But there was one thankless task that came in at the end of every shift. If you worked the box office, that means that you had to push a giant wheelbarrow full of garbage all the way through the West Village. The West Village with fancy uptown yuppies dressed in their finest, drinking champagne, their jewelry glistening in the light of the moon. And there I was, usually wearing some promotional item, like maybe a ball cap with The Last Samurai on it. And so, anytime I had to take out that garbage, I sang this little song to make myself feel a little better. I'm the trash man, hearing you laugh as I walk on by. My mound of trash reaches to the sky. I am the trash man. I'm the trash man, taking out trash you don't want to see. I'm throwing away all my dignity. I am the trash man. Now I'm the trash man, taking out trash and it ain't too cool. My folks were right, I should have stayed in school. Somebody kill me, please. Aha, the Trash Man song. All right, well, I certainly hope you enjoyed that. It was a rather dark and twisted tale there, but, you know, in the current situation, I don't think any of us could have very handily predicted exactly how this thing would play out. And fewer still could have possibly imagined that there would be a technology that would allow us to stay in touch while keeping a distance. People have chosen all sorts of different platforms in this moment to try to stay connected, and one of which seems to be rising to the top is Zoom. While some find it problematic, others see it as the solution to all their problems. And one particular person called it 35 years ago. And that, of course, is the Queen of Soul herself, Miss Aretha Franklin, who in 1985, on her immortal classic album, Who's Zoomin' Who, was able to pinpoint this precise moment in history. Now, while this song didn't quite make the cut, in fact, it didn't even make it to the band, we were able to uncover an a cappella demo of the song that never made the album. And I want you to marvel at her shocking accuracy at exactly where we are now. So here, without further ado, is the outtake from Who's Zoomin' Who, sung by Miss Aretha Franklin.
Well, the year is 1985, and things are looking good. Folks are getting together down in the neighborhood. Oh, yeah. But I get a funny feeling in exactly 35 years. We'll be talking through computer screens and drinking morning beers. Well, yeah, and we're zooming. It's such a crazy mess. Yeah, we're zooming. We all talk at one, I guess. Yeah, zooming. Tell me, can you hear me now? Zooming. I had it on mute somehow. Zooming. Can you see me dozing off? And we're zooming. Face down and my stroking off. Yeah, we're zooming. Hey, what the hell is this? What y'all got me singing over here?
Now, wasn't that great? Miss Aretha Franklin. Boy, what is she, a prophet or something? Well, you know, listening to that funky, good soul music makes me want to dance. I don't know about you guys, but I say we take this thing for a walk. Oh, Chateau, give me something smooth and funky.
Ah, yes, I remember it well. The Lesser Antilles tree weasel. Such a magnificent creature. I was 44 days into my first attempt to circumnavigate the globe in a kayak when my vessel capsized. I was no match for the power of the sea, and I soon found myself cast ashore on a tiny island. Days later, I was discovered by a native fishing party who transported my ravaged body back to their village. I don't know what they saw in me, but I was adopted by their shaman and spent the next year learning the ways of the tribe. They were a simple but proud people, and I was honored to be accepted by them. Once I was deemed ready for my rite of passage into the Cambuki tribe, I was to participate in a ritualistic hunt of the dangerous Lesser Antilles tree weasel, which they called Ulatami Diji. This loosely translates into spitting tree demon. I soon found myself wearing nothing but an ornately beaded ceremonial loincloth. As the villagers slathered my body with the milky white sap of the jujimbu vine, I began to have doubts about the hunt. This tree weasel is a most formidable beast. It can squirt deadly poison from venom sacs concealed under its jowls. Razor-sharp teeth and wicked claws give it the status of apex predator despite its small size. I received instruction in the use of the Numaya Maya, tiny finger drums made of tanned rodent hides stretched over dried gourds. I would use them to mimic the sound of a tree weasel's heartbeat. Hiking alone, I soon reached the center of the island where I located a perch. There I sat nearly motionless as the gentle tropical breeze wafted the pungent odor of jujimbu into the divi trees where the tree weasels dwelled. Jujimbo is like catnip to the tree weasel. Soon my rhythmic drumming coaxed a single boar weasel from its lair. I momentarily wavered. My thoughts lingered on the possibility of failure and death. But my confidence quickly returned, and I dropped silently from my perch, landing astride the spitting weasel. Knowing I had but a split second to act, I quickly dispatched the beast. As I cradled the weasel's limp body in my arms, I felt a sudden warm glow as its spirit entered my own body to be carried as part of me for the rest of my life. And so it was that when I returned triumphantly to the Cambuki tribe, I had earned my tribal name, Tuaku Ku Iklat, or Weasel Slayer who came from the sea.
Oh, okay. Well, hello. That was a little strange. In all this doom and gloom, there are some little bubbles of happiness that emerge. Why, just last week it was my own precious boy's 7-year birthday. Little Levon. Yes, my pride and joy. The true blue ruler of my heart. He had a good old time. We drove him around and he got to see his friends out the car window. It was quite lovely. And it's a funny thing because I can't look at my boy without thinking of my old man. We lost him last year and I've been thinking a lot of him lately. As I try to guide Levon through his journey, I think of what my father said to me. My father was a very gregarious fella. When he was out about on the town, he was always quick with a slap on the back or a light of your smoke, and he could somehow manage to eat your entire sandwich in a single bite. But when he was at home, he could be a very quiet and thoughtful man, so you took special note of what he said. And I'll never forget his words of wisdom to me. He would always say, always try your best. Pretty good. And then he would say, always finish what you start. Nice. But I think my favorite word of wisdom from my father is what he would utter every time we went to a place with a buffet-style dining. And no matter the occasion, he would always say, now get what you want, but eat what you get. Wiser words were rarely ever said. So to you, Levon, I say happy birthday one more time. And don't forget to clean your plate. Again, the response to the show last time has been so warm that we actually received some letters from some fans. So I thought we'd take this opportunity to read those and see what folks out there are saying. I thought maybe we'd start with this one here from Peter Schwartz. Let's see what he has to say. Peter Schwartz, writing from Wapakoneta, Ohio. Dear Chad, longtime fan, first-time writer. Lately, I've been real down in the dumps. What do you do when you're feeling blue? Thanks, and I'll take my answer off the air. Well, Peter, that's a very good question. You know, depression can be a very tricky situation, and it's different for every person. What works for one guy might not work for the next. I myself like the approach of trying to find quick and easy fixes, only to allow the scorched earth of impenetrable darkness to just be looming ever nearer. So, one thing that you might want to try is digging into your hobbies. I like to dig into my work. Perhaps I'll set the challenge of saying I'll finish that song by the end of the day. Or maybe I'll tackle that leaning tower of books as they teeter over my nightstand. But on most nights, let's be honest, I usually polish off a jug of gut-rot wine and wander the streets murmuring wildly to myself and end up in the morning with a half-eaten burrito on my chest. Thanks for asking. Let's see who else. Oh, here's one from Summer Martin in Mesquite, Texas. Local. Dear Chad, I think I've just about watched everything there is to see on Netflix. What else is there to watch? Love, Summer. Well, Summer, I think we're all facing that challenge. And one thing I'd like to recommend is YouTube. Oh, yes. It's an infinite resource for all number of crazy, zany things. I myself often enjoy Ukrainian women's high jump competitions. Yes, it may seem strange, but give it a try and prepare to be delighted by the incomparable athleticism, the graceful fluidity of their elegant form, the languid indifference of the slow clapping crowd. It's not to be missed. And thanks for asking. Well, I guess that about does it for our viewers' questions. And Angry Crow! Angry Crow! What is the meaning of this? I can't believe it. Okay, all right. Well, it looks like someone's written a letter and sent it by Crow. Let's see what you have to say, Crow. Be gone. Well, let's see here. This message comes from Confused Man. What exactly is this show about? Like, seriously, what am I watching right now? Well, it's hard to say, Confused Man, but we've come too far to turn back now. So let's see what's next, shall we? We had a great reaction to our Mick Jagger workout routine last week, so I thought we'd try something new. Let's try to find some other exciting way to stay fit while stuck in the home, with a little section I like to call Living Room Parkour. Chateau, we'll hold off on that rockin' good music. The key, of course, is to find ourselves a good setup where we can have platforms to drop on. Parkour, of course, has been popular for many years, but rarely is it employed inside the home to try and get a good workout. So, once you're in position, then you fire up your good parkour music so you can really rock it out. Chateau, let's hear it. Okay, now as you're preparing for your first leap, you can feel your natural body working out the legs and the lower back. Okay, so I think we're ready and we're going to give it a shot and we say, parkour! Parkour! Hey, okay, I'm getting pretty good. Parkour! Now again, you want to always be breathing. Always be breathing. As you're leaping about, it's important to keep your breath. Okay, and parkour! Okay, pretty good. All right, but whenever you really find yourself confident, you can really go for the big one, the ball. All right, and we go, parkour! That was quite a workout indeed. Why don't we hand it over to our old trusty friend, international comedy sensation, Dave Little, for a few spicy words of wisdom. Take it away, Dave.
Hi, I'm Dave. What's your name? How do you spell it? Oh, no, it doesn't matter. I've been asked by Chad, Stockslager, and promised to be paid in gold doubloons to speak for you for a moment. You know, the world has never experienced anything quite like this before, so it's important to take precautions by being both safe and sensible. And that's where I come in, me, Dave. Here are some things you may not have thought about as we make our way through what I believe is being called a global pandemic. First, numeral one. In the event of a water landing, your seat may be used as a flotation device, so always have a chair nearby. Good. Dose, too. The I after E except after C rule, very important, especially when texting in which field you've buried the extra toilet paper. Remember, it's not drop, stop, and roll, although that is how I met my first wife. Quattro. 4. The tongue is the only part of the body that doesn't worry about the economy, so in times like these, listen to your tongue. And finally, 5. Try not to activate your fight or flight mechanism every time somebody waves from across the street. This has been fun, as far as I'm concerned. I've been Dave, you've been you, and we should probably keep it that way. Okay.
Yes. Thank you, Dave, for those inspiring words. You know, I mentioned my boy earlier. He's just turned 7, so that puts him in the 1st grade. And that can be a pretty challenging time for a young fella as he's figuring things out. And while his music tends more to heavy metal, there is one song that I wrote that I think he likes, and I'd like to send it out to him now. It speaks to a singular moment that I experienced at precisely his age. I was in the 1st grade, and my teacher was a rather corpulent woman, surly of disposition, but surely well-intentioned. And this song speaks to a particular incident that she and I shared in a rather intimate fashion. It goes something like this. I said, "Oh, Mrs. White, say what is your problem? Can't you see I need to go to the bathroom? Please don't make me wait." She said, "Why didn't you go during recess?" I said, "Well, I was too busy playing. But if you don't let me go, we're gonna both regret it soon." Well, then she walked away. Now can you believe it? Left a poor boy sitting at his desk, squirming in his corduroy pants. And when she called me to the front of the bathroom, I knew that I was surely in trouble, because I pooped my britches about 5 minutes before. So there I was, at the front of the classroom. I handed in my paper, then I turned around to take my seat. Well, it was then that I saw the footprints, and I could tell they were laughing at me, in the way only tiny little shiny poop prints can do. much to my surprise, nobody had seen them. Somehow the tiny, shiny brown poop prints had gone unnoticed. And when I reached for the paper towels, I thought, my God, you might get out of this yet. And I started crawling back to my little desk. Well, just look at me now. I'm wiping up the poop prints. Well, I was probably just smearing them together, making an even bigger mess. And when I finally reached my seat, well, I could see her standing there. She kinda looked like Aunt Jemima, but I digress. She took me out to the hall. Lord knows she was angry. She said, now what's the matter with you, boy? Why'd you poop your britches? And when my daddy came to get me, well, he could tell that I had been crying. And so he took me home and he helped me wash my butt. He said, son, you know we really can't go on like this. Oh, Mrs. White. Well, I hope she's still with us. But who can tell? It was some time ago. Yes. Oh, well, now what's that I hear? Oh, sounds like a rumbling in the basement. Well, now what the... Who could it be? Who dare would darken my door on a night such as this? Oh, well, I don't... Well, hello there, stranger. Well, who are you and what brings you here? Oh, well, now speak up, son, I can't hear you. You know, our crew's out on strike. Here, let me just give you this mic and we'll see. Maybe this will help you out here. Okay, there you go. Oh, yes, well.
Chad, it's me.
Oh, my old friend Adam Cole.
Oh, you can tell who I am.
Oh,
Good to see you, friend.
I didn't recognize you with that hat.
And that beard,
Yes.
even though it doesn't match my hair.
Well,
Wow. Well, I just came here to lament.
what's been
Let
going
me
on?
set this here.
What's been going on?
Oh, boy.
You look a little rough, buddy. You look like you've seen better days.
You know, I couldn't have put it better myself, Chad. I have seen better days. In fact, I'm at an absolute .0.
Oh,
I'm at a complete nadir, my friend. Well, if you really like to know what happened, it was about a month and a half ago. That's when the walls started closing in. I lost my job. I lost my house. Well, lost my wife. Darn it if I didn't lose my kids. I lost every shred of dignity that a grown man can possess. Jesus, man, get out of here. Get the hell out of here. Jeez. Yeah, it's been a complete downward spiral since about a month and a half ago.
well, I'm so sorry to hear that. Well, what caused all this chaos? I don't understand. You were doing so well.
I lost my phone, Chad.
Oh, lost your phone. Why?
I lost my cell phone. You know, you'd really be surprised just what all you got on there and, you know, what all you do, the things you take care of, and quite frankly, the things you take for granted.
Oh, well, Adam, okay, there. Hey, you're safe here at the chateau, but I must know, how is it that you've been able to survive? How do you make a living?
Oh, now I'd love to tell you about that.
Oh.
So here's what I do out on the streets. I've got this game I play where I do impressions, and I have the passerbys guess what the impressions are. Would you like to play?
Sure, of course.
All right, well, here's one. How about this? Every day it's a getting closer, going faster than a roller coaster. Love like ours will surely come my way. Hey, 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 I'm Buddy Holly.
Oh, I was going to guess Buddy Holly. You don't have to say it at the end. That kind of ruins it for the listener. Okay, Buddy Holly. That was a good Buddy Holly.
I suppose that's true. All right, well, I've got another one. How about this one?
What else
here?
you got?
Let me see here. All right. Drove up the hillside manor sometime after 2 a.m. Talk a little while about the year.
Oh, I think I know this one. Yeah.
Well, the winter makes you laugh a little lower, makes you talk a little lower about the things you could not show her in. It's a Counting Crows impression, more specifically Adam Duritz.
No, you did
it.
Okay, you did it again. You gave it away before I even had a chance to guess.
You're right.
You're preemptively announcing the...
And I got to work on that.
All right,
part
let's try
of the
another
whole
one.
thing
I think
here.
you got probably one more in you.
All right, let me see. Well, here's a cultural icon. How about falling asleep in my partner's hand, feeling bass in the candle, the merthing, another hand direction. The days from the me till the days on healing, best from healing, white as the time. This was a Dave Matthews impression.
No, come on, you did it again. Oh, boy, you just keep killing it at the end. Well,
right.
I don't, all right. Well, so surely you're doing okay. I mean, are you making any money with those impressions?
Absolutely not.
No, well, okay.
Not a dime.
Well, I was impressed.
But I've been working on a little bit of original material. I suppose with what's been going on in my life, I could play you something that's somewhat apropos to that.
Okay, an original tune. I'd be delighted to hear it. Yes.
Sounds great. Is there a guitar in the building, perhaps?
Oh, yes, I think we have something.
Where is it coming from over there?
Oh,
Oh, thank you so much. I wish I had something to give you. Chad, do you have change for a 20?
I actually left it in my other pants.
Oh, did you?
Yes, all right.
All right,
I thought I had it.
We'll just forego that bit.
Okay.
And, I got to write the lyrics down on the back of my eviction notice.
Oh, I see you have that
So I
there.
have
Yes,
that
that's
here.
good, yes.
Let's go ahead and just uncrinkle those.
Okay.
I'll put those, I'll put them right here. How about that?
No, I think that's fine. We have plenty of room here at the chateau.
Okay. Where's the chateau located? Because apparently I'm coming from the Midwest.
Well,
Things change over time.
yes, the old chateau.
Well, let me see if we're in the right place here. Oh! Let me switch these.
All right, well, I'm excited to hear your brand new song.
Okay. Let me be your phone. Let me be your phone. Hold me, watch me, lose me and find me. Put me in your pocket and let's go. Take me to your home and let me be your phone. Let me be your phone. Let's pick it up just a little bit. I'm what you'll pay attention to when weirdos try to talk to you. I'll show you all the things I know you'll like. And I'm giving you control. So let me be your phone. Let me be your phone. If things are getting frightening, I'll update our security. put a tag on me to show you where I'll always be. Just make it so my location is known, and you'll never be alone. So let me be your phone. Let me be your phone. Hear me, feel me, empower me and use me. Talk to me and turn me off and on. And never let me go. So let me be your phone. Let me be your phone. Let me be your phone. I said let me be your phone.
Wow, now that was just lovely.
Yeah,
What a
thanks.
beautiful song, huh?
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll be hitting
but-
Oh. You gotta be kidding me.
Oh, you had it all along.
That's
oh,
my
geez Louise.
phone
Oh, boy.
that I
Wow.
had in my pocket this whole time.
Okay, all right. Well, oh, geez Louise.
All right, I guess I'll hit the... Oh my God. I just got 75 job offers today.
You get the hell out of here.
All right, I gotta get out of
Oh,
here. Let me
geez
undo
Louise.
this and undo
Oh,
that.
man, okay, oh.
Make a quick
Oh,
escape.
boy, yeah, come on now.
Comedic timing is
What a silly
crucial.
mess
I'll
you've
put that
created
there.
here.
Take this.
All right, okay, all right. Well, how about that? Okay, so here he comes, Adam Cole, into my old chateau, prancing and dancing, mincing about his hard luck tale, and the whole time he had the phone with him. Well, I think the lesson we can all learn from that is, let's not rely on our phones so much for our entire world. Paying bills, keeping in touch with one another, other things. If you have your phone as your sole means of communication, well, you're looking for trouble. And we learned that well from Adam Cole. Yes. So, well, why don't we kick this thing up a notch and we'll go into the other space to try an exciting new segment that I think you're really going to love. Let's take it away, Chateau. Ha-ha! Okay, woo-wee, woohoo, ha-ha. Yes, well, hey Chateau, how about some of that bossa nova flavor, yes? Okay. Well, as you can see, we've got everything set up here for a very brief and thrown together cooking segment that I'm hoping you'll enjoy. You know, even in the midst of a crazy pandemic, nobody wants to be stuck in the kitchen all day, slaving over a hot stove. So I like to promote a very simple, quick recipe that can keep you and the family fed and not take all day to do it. This is called the 5-ingredient pizza spaghetti pie. All right? All right, so first what we're gonna do is we got our boiling water over here. Okay, we got that going. we're going to take our spaghetti and let's go ahead and throw it on the boil. Let's get that going, okay? So we're just going to toss that in there, no muss, no fuss, and that's that. Now, while our spaghetti is going, I like to go ahead and get our other ingredients happening. Now, this is a very simple recipe that can be put together with most items that you'll find just already in your kitchen. While our spaghetti's going, we're going to take our onion here and we're going to slice it up real good and nice, okay? The secret is you want a very sharp knife, a knife that really cuts through everything so that it's going to help you with your slicing and dicing, okay? And no matter what you do, you got, oh boy, oh, okay. All right, now that was a good one. I better just clean it off here. Let me get this going here. Oh, mercy. Oh, God. What was I thinking, trying to cook? Oh, Lord. I gotta put on a glove I don't want to see all the blood all over my pizza pie I've got going over here. Okay. All right, I think we're all set now. Sorry about that, folks. Okay, sometimes you just put a little glove on to keep everything clean and nice. So where were we? So we've got our onion over here. We're just going to slice this up really good. Okay, nice and easy. And while we're at it, we're just going to go ahead and toss that in our pan here. Okay, I've got this little heated pan. We're just going to go ahead and toss our onions, keep it nice and hot. Okay, now while our onion is cooking up, we're going to turn to our next ingredient, get that going. Okay, and this is going to be some delicious sausage I bought at the store. This is a store-bought sausage, and you know, you can find this from many of your local grocers that are still out there doing their best to keep food for you and the family. I'm just going to toss it right into the pot, okay? No need to make a fuss. We've got our sausage in there. Maybe give it a quick once over, okay? Yeah, that's going to cook up real nice. Very good. Okay, so while that's going, we've got our pasta about ready to come out. I like my pasta particularly al dente, so I'll only cook it for about 2 minutes. But in the meantime, we're going to get in here. Now, this is authentic goat fat. You can get this off of any goat. And we just want to really slather it in there. So this is greasing our little casserole. And I think that's going to help us out. Okay, nice and easy. Yes. And at this point, we've got our pasta ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and use my little things over here. Okay, we're going to drain this pasta and get a nice, good feel for what we're looking at here. Yes. Okay, nice and breezy. Now you can see it's nice and still crunchy. That's going to give it that texture that you want. Okay, so we've got that going there. And I think at this point we're going to add our pasta sauce. Now, I like to reach for Loopy Larry's pasta sauce. Whenever I find myself in the need for a special ingredient for a special dish, why not reach for the best? Loopy Larry's. Now, I met old Loopy Larry down on Throckmorton years ago, and he sells this from under the overpass. So you know it's good. So let's just crack it open and see what we got here. We're going to toss it right into our pasta, okay? No big whoop. And now the most crucial part, the seasoning. Now, here I've got some fresh, dried basil, and we're going to sprinkle it in. But, you know, I always like to go a little extra. I mean, who doesn't love basil? It's the key ingredient to all good Italian food. All right. But the next one, you maybe want to be a little more judicious. It's very important not to oversalt your dish. So we kind of sprinkle it in real nice. And anytime you're doing this kind of preparation, it's always important to be keeping very careful eye on the ingredients so as to not to overdo it. So let's, in the meantime, check our sausage. And we've got this good and going. Now, my ingredients I like to think of like a delicious steak. So, you know, a little pink in the middle is probably okay. All right, it's going to cook in that oven anyway. So let's just slop it on in there. We're just slurping things along. And you can see we've got a wonderful melange of exotic flavors here to play with. Okay, so I think we're about ready. That's about everything. So we're going to toss it in our special oven here at about 400 degrees. Now, typically this would take about 4 to 6 hours to cook up. But here at the chateau, we have a very special oven that actually features a hyperblast function. So let's just go ahead and try that. I'm going to give it a little oop, oop, beep. Okay, and that should be about ready. And here we go. Let's see what this tastes like, shall we? Oh, piping hot. That's right. Yes. Okay, now isn't that just lovely? Isn't that beautiful? Okay, a 5-ingredient pizza spaghetti pie. Now, who doesn't want to know what this thing tastes like? Oh, there we go. Here's my tasting spoon. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Looks kind of like a lasagna, but we can just kind of dig in here and give it a taste. Okay. I can really taste the basil and really mostly just all salt, to be honest, but hey, that's pretty good, right? Okay. Well, I'm going to go see about this wound here, and in the meantime, let's take this opportunity to reflect on some of the things that we've been missing the most while we're away from all of our friends and loved ones. I'd like to take you now on a very short little journey, and I hope you enjoy. Please, Chateau!
With everything turned upside down, I think it's the travel I'll miss the most. Why, it was just late last year that I enjoyed my latest journey, and I remember it oh so well. First it was to France, to the bustling port town of Perpignan, nestled snugly at the foot of the mighty Pyrenees mountains. I recall long days gazing from my terrace to the warm, inviting waves of the Mediterranean Sea. It was while waiting for a train that I saw a streetwalker slap a bouquet of flowers out of an old lady's hand. I look back wistfully now, as I think these are the memories I will cherish the most. Then it was south to Spain, to the wondrous beauty of Barcelona, a place rich with vibrant culture and pulsing to the ceaseless rhythm of 1,000 overpaid DJs. Truly glorious. I soon found myself in Sudan. It was a mistake. I had accidentally boarded the wrong plane and barely escaped with my life from what was clearly an active war zone. But then it was onward to the sandy beaches of Fortaleza in Brazil. To my surprise, I fell in with a scruffy tribe of gypsy minstrels who taught me the traditional songs of their native land and later stole my wallet. I somehow made it back home, just in time to see the world suddenly fall to an unimaginable standstill. Now, confined to my lonely chateau, I watch with tearful eye at the wayward birds as they glide over the majestic man-made splendor of White Rock Lake. Safe for the moment, but never more alone. I wonder, where do we go from here?
That's for us tonight, but I want to thank you so much for coming along with me. And I thought, what better song to end on than a tune written by one of my favorite all-time writers, the great Dolly Parton. A true national treasure if ever there was. Fly ye away from my window, little bluebird. Fly ye as far as you can away from here, and let not your song fall upon my ear. Now go spread your blue wings and I'll shed my blue tears. For the one that I have loved, she has left me and gone, and I am in no mood for to hear your sad song. And bring not your light into my dark bloom yellow sunshine. Waste not your warmth on the coldness in here. Oh, trouble me not, go ye elsewhere. Go light your blue skies and I'll shed my blue tears. Oh, the only one that I've ever loved is gone away. And I am in no mood for the sunshine today. For I don't know when or if ever again I will see her sweet face, but I fear it's forever goodbye. Though I can't say why, but I'll sit here and cry these lonely blue tears. Now go spread your blue wings, light your blue skies, and I'll shed my blue tears. Well, go spread your blue wings, and I'll shed my blue tears. Well, thank you. And thank you, Dolly. All right, well, that does reach the end of our show. But before we go, I would like to make a few thank yous. I want to thank Michelle and Franky Draper, David Blood, Adam Cole, Paul the Amazing Armstrong, Brad Williams, Callie and Smalls, Chris Holt, David Young, the Jensens, David Lowery and Toby Halbrooks, Dave Little, Eric Stockslager, and my boy Levon. Now, the important thing in all this is to keep sight of what's real, what you know to be true, not what's perceived or told you by others. And I was brought to mind the other day when I came across a poem my brother wrote. I can only assume he wrote it because he put his name to it on Facebook, so let's hope. It says, "Oh, do we not play, frolicking in the poisonous thorns? The roses smile so pretty, leading us into homespun snares. My eyes roam and prowl, sizing up every resource and obstacle, darting into distrustful corners. My other eye sits in a trance, concentrating on the webs within the cycles. This eye shows me patterns and makes me glow. Beat and best to drown it in friendly blankets, cause it to retreat and leave me where my broken heart feels safest, in the shadows cast rather than the flame itself." Eric Stockslager, 420. All right, well, here's to you, my friends, and remember, be safe, be vigilant, keep an eye out, wash cold and tumble dry, and until we meet again, I say good day.